The motorspirit is in Watkins Glen, New York, near Ithaca, home of Cornell University, and Corning, of Corning glass fame. The first post-World War II road race in America was held on the streets and roads of Watkins Glen, a vacation village near Seneca Lake in the Finger Lakes District. It was the dream of a young lawyer, Cameron Artgetzinger. Artgetzinger loved the idea of European road racing and the famous courses like Spa in Belgium. Miraculously and tenaciously, he persuaded the town officials and even changed a railroad schedule to stage the first race in 1948. Today you can still drive the original course, with a long uphill like at Spa. It's easy to see this is a course of a road racing romantic. The course was just a little under 7 miles, and the races were about 8 laps. And the first winning car was a pre-war Alfa 8C 2900. Can you imagine pushing a big Jag XK120 through these? Or the little spindly tires of an MGTC? And then heading downhill to the start-finish line on the main street of the village, Franklin Avenue. Success and safety concerns forced the end to street racing, but created Watkins Glen International, not far from town. It would become the center of American road racing, hosting Formula One races through the 1980s and every major sports car event. This weekend, the IMSA sports cars are back for the Saline 6 Hours of the Glen. Motorsports is in a precarious position. Formula One has only 2 or 3 cars out of a field of 20 that could win a race, and it's fighting increasing costs. NASCAR has turned into a contrived and commercial enterprise looking to stave off a declining audience, and historic sports car races like Le Mans have lost top-tier competitors like Audi and Porsche. Yet IMSA sports car races, owned by NASCAR, looks up for a resurgence in 2018, with Roger Penske handling a Honda Acura Daytona prototype and Reinhold Jost, the German team that masterminded Audi's domination of Le Mans, is trying to find prototype success for Mazda.
Driver, start your ignition.
There has been racing in the Elkhart Lake area of Wisconsin since 1950. Like at Watkins Glen, racing began on the local public roads. About an hour north of Milwaukee and not far from Chicago is Elkhart Lake, a summer vacation resort where families come to spend a week. As a kid, you can swim, sail, water ski, maybe appreciate your sister, and stay up until the sun goes down around 10 p.m. Many of the same people who raced on the streets of Watkins Glen, like Jim Kimberly of the Kleenex fortune and Briggs Cunningham, came to race in the rolling cornfields of Wisconsin. The Elkhart Lake races drew such big crowds, city fathers had to create Road America just outside of town. Road America, taking cues from the roads around it, is long and fast. It's the longest track in the country at 4 miles. And as you can see, the community takes pride in its history.
A big win here in Wisconsin for the number 22 car.
Welcome your winners and prototype from Tequila Patrol. Yes, out.
Yeah. Victory circles, the race fans still have a couple of minutes yet. Everybody, make your way towards victory area and come in and join the celebration.
Right here, look at Wes.
Coming to Elkhart Lake has a lot to offer for fan and family. Great racing, Road America's famous bratwursts, Saturday night dirt track racing in Plymouth, and world-class golf in nearby Kohler, site of the 2020 Ryder Cup. Elkhart Lake and Road America are bucket list quality. This is Portola Road on the property of Pebble Beach on the Monterey Peninsula. Post-war road racing on the West Coast didn't begin here, but it was made famous here. The first race was in 1950, and over the next few years there would be variations to the course, and many parts of it are still here. The Pebble Beach Tour de Elegance begins on Portola Road, but goes in the opposite direction than the race cars did. Like many road races, it originated to bring attention to the properties for sale in the Del Monte Forest, the idea of Samuel F.P. Morse, and made real by Sterling Edwards of San Francisco. The famous 17-mile drive is the round trip between the Hotel Del Monte in Monterey to the lodge in the early 1900s, where sightseers would pick up picnic lunches in their carriages and return to Monterey. Today, the 17-mile drive is actually 10.5 miles.